Hello. Let's get this golden book going. We need some pages. I have picked out some papers. I am using the Country Kitchen paper collection from CardBella. And CardBella is also made by EcoPark paper. So CardBella paper, EcoPark paper, they are the same company, two different brands. And I love their paper. It smells so good. The texture is amazing. And look at these little farm animals. So cute. Look at these little chickens. So cute. Okay, so I've got some papers. And of course we have the storybook pages. I also picked out, while we're talking paper, I picked out some napkins that I thought would be really cute to decoupage in there. I've got 2 envelopes for each signature. Those will be perfect to decoupage on. There's my cute little pig napkin. I've got some fun little chicks. I love them. Some sweet little bunnies. And then a little lamb. Those are all napkins. And then I've got some mixed media paper. I'm going to put 2 pages in each signature, and I pulled out 2 others just because if I want to do some tags, like this little lamb would make a cute tag, or the little bunnies would make a cute tag, and mixed media paper is perfect to decoupage on. So we'll set those aside. So those 2 pages will be going in. I'm going to go ahead and just fold them now so I remember that I wanted them in there. Now most of my papers started out as 12 by 12. This starts out as a 7 by 10. This is just from a mixed media like you get in the art section of the craft stores. It's like wire bound book, kind of like your watercolor paper. And I just tore it out of the book. It actually had a perforated thing, so it tore clean. And then I have some fabric to put on the spine. I just kind of chose a neutral. It's yellow and blues, but since it's baby, I feel like it goes really well. And there's enough other colors, pops of colors in here that if it ended up being for a baby girl, this would be fine as well. So super cute. Of course, we have our storybook pages. We're going to intermix all of our pages together. Now, I usually put this together with a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. And I'm trying to decide if I want to do that. The last one I put together, I did a slipped spine, and I really loved it. I like them all, so it's hard to say one way or the other. I think we're going to have plenty of paper though, because this here will be our paper. So when I cut these down, this is 7 by 6, and it's folded. Again, my cardstock, my scrapbook paper started as 12 by 12, so I folded it in half like this. Look at this cute little farm scene in here. So this will be all of our papers going in to the book. A pretty good selection of paper and sizes. You can see they're all varying sizes. The storybook page itself is going to be the biggest papers because I don't want to cut them, but I think it's good to have some variance, and especially on these scrapbook papers, you can sew a trim or you glue a trim or whatever, and then it'll kind of match out, and you'll just have some interesting different sizes when you look at the side of your book. I always remind everyone to look at all profiles of their pages. So look at your book from the top, from the side, from the spine, and from the bottom, because, you know, when you're showing them to people, they're going to look at the whole thing up and down. And it's just nice to make sure you paid attention. And I say that, and the other day I was paying so much attention myself. I glued in I did my cover of a book upside down, so I had to fix all the inside pages and everything. But it happens. Okay, so this one we want to glue in between our little golden strips, so I need to cut this down. Let's see, I think I want to cut just inside this little blue line right there. It's good and bad when it has a pattern on it that has lines like this. It's good because it's easy to see where to cut and how to kind of measure, but it's also bad because if you make a mistake, is it really going to show, or if it's crooked? So I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to rip it all the way down. There we go. Now on the inside's going to be wider because it doesn't have these golden strips. So what I want to do here is I'm going to glue this in. I think it's so cute. I'm going to glue this in, and I'm probably just going to put it all the way in here, and then we'll put another strip over it. I'm going to leave this fabric strip in here, and then we'll put another one over it just for some more support because my chipboard was on the thin side. Okay, so let's get this gluing. Now when you glue your fabric, I'm going to use a clear gel tacky glue because that's what I like to use. You want to make sure you smooth your glue out though, or it could bleed through your fabric. And you want to put lots of glue in there. So whatever glue you like to use, do that. This chipboard is so super thin, I could even stitch this fabric in here if I wanted to with a sewing machine. Okay, and then I like to use my silicone little tool, brushy tool here. And smooth it out. The secret to getting less stained fabric is smoothing it out. Sometimes I just use my finger or I use the silicone brush, whatever. Okay, so let's get this glued in here. And I'm going to leave a little bit over the top edge, and the bottom edge is going to wrap. So if you have a pattern like this, like see where that line is right there, I'm going to let that be the top, just so we can play into that design. And press it in here. Now if you've got some frayed edges, you can kind of tuck them underneath this little golden strip. I like the little golden book strip to show. It is, for me, the iconic piece of the book, so that's why I try to preserve it at least a little bit. I know I've divided it, but I do keep the story intact, and I like to include this piece. And I've seen other journalers, they'll cut this off, and they'll make bookmarks out of it or something, so I think it's cool to still include it. I like mine to still be on the spine. But, you know, each bookmaker will do their own thing, so and definitely have their own style and their own flair, so that's okay. All right, this one is going to be just for some extra support, so we're going to go ahead and chop this little piece off here because it's extra. And we'll glue this whole strip in, and then we'll glue another piece over it. Now, we could just cut this off, no big deal, but it does support, it does add support to the spine on the inside and the outside. Okay, so I'm going to put this down like this. And I didn't smear out that glue, but this one's not going to matter because it's not going to be seen. And then we're going to put some more glue over here. Come on, glue. And we'll fold this flap right into it. Okay. Then we'll go ahead and cut another piece of this. And I'm going to make sure my pattern's going the same way. It would be kind of funny if we put it, oh, I don't know. I guess maybe it's just square either way. But if you have a directional one, make sure it's going the right way. I'm all worried about direction now since okay. So I'm going to go ahead and mark. I wanted to cover the tape. I'm going to pull this down a little bit so you guys can see. I wanted to cover the tape and have a little extra room so I can put my seam and kind of glue it down. But I don't want to cover up the little golden book stuff on the inside or the outside. That's just my personal preference. Sorry, I'm just making a slit in the fabric. I'm going to pull this a little bit. I want it, like I said, I kind of want to show this side here. And I usually like to put a little trim, so I want to leave a little bit of room to put some rickrack, I think. And again, either lace or rickrack on this side. So go ahead and cut it here. Now this one, I've seen people do different ways as far as how they close up their ends. You can just leave it, which is kind of what I like to do, especially since we already have a portion of it wrapped. So this is what it'll look like on the top. And you can see a little bit of our tape work here. If you don't like that, you can just cover over it, but then it's going to be showing on the front side, and I don't know if I like that. So do whatever you like best. And or you can just cut it flush so it, you know, it's even. You can fold this under to make a cleaner edge. I kind of like the frayed edge at the top. That's just my preference. And I like the little bit of a frayed edge at the bottom too. So this is just a little bit long. I'm going to go ahead and snip it just a little bit more. And I like to rip it. I love that sound. Can't get enough. Only time it's not good is if it's on the clothes you're wearing. All right, there we go. We'll just go ahead and put this in now. Okay, and I'm going to put glue everywhere that I've got tape. And I'm going to put glue over this inside fabric because this inside fabric really is just for support. I was putting it on the outside anyways. So a lot of times people will make their outside and inside the same, but when I do a journal book, I like, or a golden book, I like to keep the golden spine, so that's how we ended up with this weird width on the inside. Okay, I'm going to smear out this glue. Try not to get any of the little globs, but again, this glue is clear, so if you get globs, usually it will dry clear. It'll just leave some kind of a weird little lump or something, but if you smear it out pretty good, that doesn't happen, and it allows you to get to all the edges as well. Okay. Go ahead and put this in. And I don't usually iron my fabric because when you glue it, it just glues right on. It just lays out straight as long as you smooth it out. Now we can see a little bit of that fabric peeking through on the other side, but we're going to put our pages there, so it's not going to matter. And this part can get a little sticky, so if you're, you might get some glue from the fabric on your hands. Just be aware of that. But I do like to smooth it out. And then we also need to bend it, make sure that everything is still functional. I like to bend and crease, make sure that the fabric is still going to be smooth when it bends. There we go. And I think that looks really cute. Now these strings, you can keep them for aesthetic if you want. I like to snip them out. It's kind of become the new junk journaling thing to keep your strings. I just haven't embraced it yet. I don't know. Okay, and then if your fabric didn't quite meet up or you feel like you still have a seam, you can still put some ribbon or some rickrack in here. I don't like to cover too much of the golden spine, but sometimes it does help to kind of make everything look neat and tidy. You can see I've got a little extra fabric in the inside there. And you can run your bone folder. You can kind of lift it up like this and try and get it to tuck under there. Get all of this situated and set before it dries. Same thing here on the inside, and it looks pretty good to me. I like it. I like it. We're going to go ahead and punch holes. I'm trying to decide. I think I just want to do, I want to do the slipped spine because I have so much more versatility when I do that. I do a slip spine on a lot of my books. I love it. I think on this one we might do some buttons. Even though it's a slip spine, we can still do some buttons. I've got some cute ones sitting right here. So, okay, let's go ahead and get our crocodile. If you don't have a crocodile, you definitely to do this you could use an awl, and especially since we've got a fabric here that kind of has measured out spots for us already. We can see we could put our 2 holes here. I wanted to have 2 signatures because that's what the little golden book had. Sometimes I do more, sometimes I do less. Just depends. I wouldn't put more than 3 signatures in here personally, just because of the things that I like to put. I like to decorate the pages. And if you aren't decorating the pages, so you're going to go super light on ephemera, maybe even no ephemera, that's fine too. You can do, more, 3 or 4. I like to usually just do 2 though. And I want to see if I open this, is it going to look weird if I put my holes right here? Because this is just a little bit off center. So I got that tucked in there. I think I'm going to put my holes just inside this little square and we'll see how that looks. So I'm going to set the depth on my crocodile. If you need help using your crocodile, I did just make a video on tips on using eyelets. And there's a lot of tips for using your crocodile as well. And that's on YouTube. So anybody can go watch that. It's free to watch. So I like to set the depth on my crocodile just so I know the holes are going to be at the same set the depth there. Let's see if it's still correct. I always like to double check. Yes, that's about where I want it. So that just makes it so I can't slip this any further, and it's going to be the same depth for both holes, so they'll be nice and straight. And I'm going to put one over here. I'm going to put one like just inside this line, and then we'll go just inside this line. There we go. Okay, so we've got our 2 holes there, and then we still need 2 holes down here. And we've got our depth is still selected, so I'm just going to go right here. And this one, since it's a measured fabric, that definitely, or like, I don't know if measured fabric is the right word, but it's a printed fabric with a grid-like print, so it's really helping out. But like I said, it'll also show if you have it off a little bit, you can see my line kind of goes over there because of the glue. But we're going to put a few things over there, so hopefully the focus won't be on little crooked lines. There we go. But it does help when you're putting in your eyelets to have the grid, because then you don't have to make a template. That's also what I like about a slipped spine, is I don't have to make a template. I don't have to do a lot of those things. And I can still change my mind about putting pages in and out. Okay, so I did want to put some buttons. I think I want to put one up here and one down here. Do I just want one? Oh, look at the little yellow button. That'll be so sweet right there. Okay, and then maybe we'll do a pink one down below, just because then it can be just kind of gender neutral. It can be whatever for whoever. Have some cute little shaped buttons too, but I think I like these. Maybe I'll do the pink at the top and the yellow at the bottom. Okay, now we need to get our eyelets in there first before we get too excited. Had these sitting here. I was like, yes, do the buttons. All right, so now we get to choose the color of eyelets that we want. What do we want? What do we want? Maybe green. Green would be kind of cute, because then it will play on these colors here. There's green. And it's kind of that light green. Let's see if I can find some more of those in this little baggie. These mixed bags are great, but it does make it a little challenging to find all the same color if that's what you're hoping for. That's why when I sell eyelets, I like to keep them colors separated. Oh, that looks like different colors. Maybe this one needs to go because although that is green. I have a really hard time with green. These look like different greens to me. Yeah, they are, I think. Okay, there's those two. Those look like the same. So just setting them in here isn't enough. You have to use the tool to squish them or set them. So here comes the eyelet setter. There we go. One little squish and another little squish. And it should be just that easy. And they should squish down nice and smooth on the back side here. So you can see. Now this is just stretchy elastic. This one actually came from Dollar Tree. You get, it says 5 yards, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4 colors. So maybe we'll try that purple one and see how it works. Any elastic cord works great for this. You don't want to get too thin. This is a little thinner than what I usually use, but I think it'll still work just fine. Now some people do 3 links and then cut it like they take this and they go 1, 2, 3 and pull out. I just leave it attached there. I don't feel like I need to do that. And then I waste a whole lot less, especially when it's this elastic because it stretches. And you're not totally sure how much you're going to need, really, in my opinion. You could measure if you want to, but I just go as I do it. I don't like how this works. Let's see. That tape really was holding everything all in there. Now I'm going to have it all in a big wad. Thanks, Dollar Tree. Okay, so to avoid that, maybe put some washi tape over here on some of these other strands or tuck them under or something like that. Okay, so I do like to have some of this pulled out and ready to go, but I leave it attached. I just kind of set it in my lap while I'm working. Now for this kind of a spine, we do want our strings on the inside. So I like to start here at the outside, put it up there, and then it goes down here and comes back. Now if you want I might start at the top side for this one because I kind of want to end at the top. So I'm just going to turn it around. Here we go. And we'll put it in there, through the book, out this hole. Now we need to do our buttons, because I haven't done buttons like this before, but we're going to try it. Come on. Okay, so there's our string coming through here. And our strand is on the inside. And I wanted the yellow button at the bottom, so we're going to go ahead. And I'm just going to go the ones on the side because this is 4 holes. So we're just going to go up here. Oops. And then through the other side of the buttonhole. And then we want to make sure we have enough elastic to get the stretch all the way back down. We're going to go through this hole. And along the inside. And that just kind of stretches our button out there. And then we'll go up this hole here. And we'll do our other button before we snip this and tie it and all the things. Okay, so now we're at the top of the book, but we're just upside down because it's easier to work down here than it is up there, at least for me anyways. So we're gonna go, whoops, don't let it go, don't let it go. We're gonna go up through the buttonhole again. Oh gosh, so sorry you guys, my eyes are just no good today. There we go. And then through this one. Through this one. Okay. Now we can see we have enough elastic, so I'm going to go ahead and snip it, but we want to leave a little bit of room. I like to go back through. You can see we got both holes over, or both strings over here. So I'm going to snip this off the string, the spool. And set this out of the way. Okay, so this string that has our button on it over here, we want to go back inside of here, and then that will make our string be on the inside of the book. Here's where you wish you had like a few more fingers or hands. Okay, and then this one is going to go back in through this loop here. That's going to put our strings on the inside. So if you want your strings on the outside, because maybe you want to put a dangle or something here, just go back through and tie them underneath the button. So like you have to cross them, but and you want to make sure this is pulled tight, but not so tight that it's going to bend or break your cord. And we want our buttons adjusted on the inside. Now, I can just tie this right here and call it good, and I think I might do that because I have my my little buttons on the outside, and I feel like that's cute right there. And like I said, we can still add some ribbon or whatever we want to add out here. And if you do want to add a dangle, you can still add it behind the button because this cord will still be there. Actually, do I want to do this? I think I might just go back through. Let's just go back through. Then we'll have options. And if we don't want it, we can just cut it off. Okay, so we'll go back through the holes. I just crisscross them. Grab it there. This one. Come on. And if we don't want to put a dangle, we could still put a charm. I got some really cute charms. You could put beads, any of the things. Okay, so now we're back out on the outside, and we can just tie this right underneath the button. Okay, and then I'm just going to tie a knot, and we'll leave this to dangle here. Now if we want to add other things to the dangle, like we could add beads, we could add ribbon, we could add lace, any of those things, we just need to simply just tie right on or clip on with, you know, your bulb pin or whatever. But now we have our cute little strings on the outside, just hanging there waiting for whatever we might want to do with them. And it tied our cute little buttons on. I knew that would be cute. Okay. So that means we're ready to put pages in. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So we've got our elastic in here. It is a little bit looser than I normally leave it, but I do have some thicker pages. So that elastic is the cheapest I've seen. That was, well, that's not true. The elastic I was using is way thicker. You can see it's thicker. And it came from Michael's in the kids beading section, the Creatology, and it was on clearance. So it was like 80 or 90% off after a holiday. I got it for like, I don't know, 15 cents or something. But this one came from Dollar Tree, and Hobby Lobby did just have some in their clearance section, and I picked up a little bit there too. I usually try to get neutral colors like gold or silver, and I can use them in whatever book, but sometimes having some fun colors is nice too. Okay, so now we're going to grab all of our pages, and I want the book to start with the regular story. And I want to keep these in order. So like right here is little kitties, but they've got flowers. So I'm going to, and whatever you put in, it's going to be showing here, but it's also going to be showing here. So I think I might put some of this. Oh, I had that one. I wanted to put the farm one. Where's this one? What we could actually do. Where'd it go? Where's the one that has the farm? Oh, it's this one. The cows and chickens. We could actually put this one, turn it this way, and have it open up to the farm, and we could put it on the outside of this page here. So it'll be like the jacket to the first page there. And I think that will be cute. Okay. Then it'll be this. Oops, no. Where did those kitties go? see what happens. Oh, it's right here. Ah, I didn't have it right. All right, so this one is baby sheep inside. Here's the first page. And then chickens over there. So this one has cows and chickens. I think this page that has the pretty little flowers, I want to put in here with our little kitties. So they're playing with the flowers, and I think that'll just look really pretty right there. Okay, so there's that, there's that. And then this one with the sheep, I'm going to put my mixed media paper because I have that really cute napkin that I want to put on there. And anytime you put a white page, it just leaves you room to do anything. A blank page is exciting. Don't let it scare you. Okay, here we go. So there's this. And then it'll go this and then this. So we can put anything we want there. And here. Room for pockets or whatever we want. There's a beautiful flower paper with the kitties. Love it. Here's a page that has bunnies. And now we could do our envelope as the center page in here and do our cute little bunny decoupage there. And then whatever over here. You can put your envelopes in a number of different ways. I sometimes like having this little flap. I'll put tags on there or whatever. Some people do them this way though. You just fold it in half and then you have pockets at the tops. But a lot of times I do them like this, and that's how I think I'm going to do it. In this one, did I put everything in here that I wanted to put in here? Let's see what's on the inside of this one. Some little dots. That might be kind of cute. Like this. Okay. So then you can do them individually or as you go or whatever. I kind of like to lay them all out. The other issue we're going to have here is our pages are going to be too tall, our book pages. So I may still have to trim this story down, which I think will be okay because there's a lot of white space at the top and the bottom. So let's go ahead and work on that. I kind of forgot about that. We need to make sure all of our pages fit in between the eyelets. One other way you can avoid that is you can put your pages in here. If you have something you really don't want to cut down, see, this fits fine, actually. It's like a perfect fit. But you can make a little slit here and a little slit here where the strings go, and just have the page be above it. And that will just kind of ride in between there. I get a little nervous doing that though because I don't want it to rip the pages. And over time, I feel like it will. So I'm going to go ahead and trim these down just a bit. And I've just got them all together. Depending what trimmer you use, you could use a guillotine and that would be really great. I'm not very good at cutting with a guillotine. I'm more like my personal trimmer. And I just trimmed through a bunch of times. All right. And let's see, are we getting closer? Yes. So we just need to cut about the same amount off the bottom. And I'm going to go just underneath these words, trying to keep every single part of it intact if I can. And hopefully that'll give us enough room. Put the pages in there. Now, if we had done a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, we wouldn't have had to do that. All right, let's see. Let's try it. And these pages sometimes can be really fragile, depending on the age of your book. If you have a vintage book, just bending them like this to get inside the elastic can sometimes be tough. So just take your time. If you have to, you can put some like collage medium or gel medium over them first, at least on the bottom edges. Just kind of seal them in, give them a little strength. You could put some washi tape on the seams if you need to. See, it's still just a little bit tight, and it's going to wrinkle up here and down there. And if you have those kinds of wrinkles, it can lead them to tear. So let's see. if we're okay if we take a little bit more off the bottom. Yeah, I think I'd rather lose it off the bottom, so I'm going to just take just a little bit more. Get this page out of here without tearing it, hopefully. There we go. Okay, I'll put it back together, and then we'll just trim a little bit more off the bottom. So we've got this page first, then we'll do this one. This is our second signature, so I'm going to set that there. So basically all we're doing to this guy is just adding in some pages. And by adding in the pages, it gives you room to journal. So you can write little stories or messages or even put little photos. Maybe you have some grandkids or something, and you know, maybe you take some pictures of them reading books or on the farm or whatever the theme of your book is. Or you can just simply like add to the story. Like sometimes my other book was about counting, so this one's about baby animals. So maybe you take some, maybe you went to the zoo or to a petting zoo or to a farm. Maybe you have a farm. You can add some photos in there of your favorite animals. Okay, so there's that one. This one was going to be these pretty flowers next to the kitties. And sometimes it helps if you round the corners of your pages just to get them in and out of the elastic. And we just slip to that crease part. And this one's moving around, don't worry. It will stay eventually. Okay, so next page comes our little kitties. And they're so cute. This page is a little loud, but that's all right. We'll put some things over it. We can put pockets and maybe even a flip out or something. Okay, then we'll put our little envelope. And right now our envelope's going to look a little weird because it's just going to have this little flap in there, but we'll put something in there too. And then here's our little half page. Okay, so that is our first signature. Let's just make sure, yeah, we're inside the book still, which I like. That's great. And we'll do the same thing for the second signature here. All the same pieces. I do have these two smaller pieces. I did put a smaller page in there. Why do I have an odd one? Oh, there we go. I don't. Okay, so this one I think needs, our other side needs a little chicken page. So where's the page that has does it have little chicks on this side? Yep, there's one. Chicks and ducks. Okay, so let's see. Because this paper has chickens. So we'll put it here. And that little chicken paper will go there. Where did it come out through on the other side? Over here, right where the farm is. So that's fine. Okay. And then we have pigs. So cute. I think we'll go ahead and put this chicken paper right here because it's going to be next to this part of the farm. Now you can put them in for whatever reason, rhyme or reason that you like. I like to kind of make my pages add to the story just a little bit if it can. So here comes the little pigs. How cute are they? I didn't get out any puppy paper, but you totally could put something with paw prints or something of that sort. Come on. Now I know it looks loose while we're putting these in here, but don't worry, it really will hold the pages intact, even with a little kid flipping through. Okay, now. That would be cute there, or we could put our this kind of paper. What else? What other animals do we have in here? Oh, we have goats. How cute. And there is the swans, or baby geese. Swans. Okay, I think I'm going to do... I know we just did this one over there, but it doesn't really matter. I like it like this, so we're just going to go for it. Ooh, do we want the flowers or the dots with the puppies? I think I kind of like the flowers. So this is the part of the book making process that I actually quite like. I know some people find it a little daunting, but here is where I feel like we've done all of this work and now it becomes a book again because we finally have pages in there. So it's kind of exciting. Okay, so really when I do a little golden book, it's a storybook page and then a page of my own and then a storybook page and then a page of my own, like my own choosing, not my own, but like my own choosing. So there's that one, and then it's gonna go, what do we want to put in there? Let's put this one because I do have a napkin with a horse and I think that might be kind of fun. So mixed media page, and then we'll put our other little goat back in there. So cute. Whoops, and we could have done a little half sheet in between there. So that's where, so once you get to the end, you see what pages you have left. And you can keep going with patterns. Sometimes when I get to the inside of the signature, like if you like seeing this whole piece, you can leave it like that if you want to. You can put one of your favorite pages, so when they open it up, it's kind of like, oh, wow. Whatever you want to do here. There's an envelope. What else do I have? Here's this little peg piece. That's so cute. I think I might put this floral piece in between here. And you don't have to use all of the pages. You certainly can. If you feel like you have enough, then, you know, you can call it good enough. Whoops, so where's that going to go? It's going to pop out here. Yeah, we could still do that. That would be cute. Okay, there we go. So we've got that page in there. And then I have this little piece with the pigs. Oh, but I've already got this paper right here by the pigs, so I don't necessarily know if I need this. We can use this later to like make a pocket or make some ephemera, whatever we want to do. And I didn't put an envelope in this second signature. Not that I have to, but sometimes I do quite like to. I'm just going to slip it in here for right now, and if I decide I don't want it there, I can always take it out. So the other one, I put this big side on the left and the little side on the right. You can flip it around if you know, and then this, like I said, if you have other paper, this one is directional, but I'll show you. Like you could take a half page like this, and we can put it on here to make a little page like this. So your little envelope flap can actually become a page, just of a different size, just like that. And it doesn't even have to be this wide. It can just be a little tiny strip. You can glue a tag on there on both sides and flip it through just for some extra interest. And I think it adds a lot, and it's really nice. Okay, so let's give it a flip through and see what we think. And my chipboard is a little flimsy on the inside. Like I said, I kind of like it to stand back up, but I think it will as we put some more things in there. So we're getting some... you know, some strength just from the girth of there. We could always put something to wrap around here if we wanted to, but then it hides the spine of this little golden book, and I love it. And I don't usually like to lose that. So I could put some rickrack here. In fact, I think I will. Let's turn the Ryobi on because I've got some white rickrack sitting right here that I think would just be super cute and perfect, and that would maybe add to the strength of the spine. So we'll just put it here. See how it folds still? I don't like that. If you use a thicker chipboard, I should have gone one more layer in there because mine's kind of thin. But we'll add this, and I think that will be really cute. And we could add rickrack on the inside as well. I think it does add a lot to the edge in here. So you can add it just like this. We could also add a lace or ribbon or whatever. Let's see, do I have enough to do? Oh, like just enough to do. Okay, so I think I can do the outsides and the insides as long as I cut very strategically just with this strand. And look, that'll get something off my desk. Cleaning. Okay, so I'm gonna do these outside ones first, and then I'll do the 2 inside ones. So when I glue ribbon or rickrack or lace or anything onto any type of surface that it has to go one side to the other, I usually like to just get one side of it lined up first, like one end. And a silicone brush or tool is really helpful for smashing glue down. Especially when it's rickrack, it helps get rid of those glue strings. Even if you just use like a plastic knife or something. I don't know if that will clean off as well as like silicone does, but and reusable is nice, because then I don't have to throw this away like you would a plastic fork or knife or something like that. Okay, and I really make sure my fabric is doing what it's supposed to do. And I just put a little bit of glue. Get the rickrack to lay down where I want it on that little bit of glue. And then I keep going. And I'm trying to remember that this is to help support the spine and seal in that fabric edge. So it's got a job to do. I need to make sure I get it in the right spot or it won't do that job. Can you guys see? Let's see. And while I'm going along, I'm kind of using the edge of my silicone tool to get out those glue globs while they're still wet and flexible, and kind of press them down. A silicone tool is really good for working with hot glue. It helps you get all the strings out, and it helps it to lay where it's supposed to. And it helps to keep from burning your fingers. I cannot wear those little finger protectors. I've tried, my brain just won't do it. Which sounds weird, but if I put the finger protector on my finger here, then I will just not use that finger for whatever reason. I feel like it's occupied or something, I don't know. It's still sticky from glue. And it has 3 jobs. It's to look cute, to cover this edge, and to help support her spine just a little bit. So placement is key. Getting it glued down good is also key. So once you press it into place. And then I'm using this silicone tool to kind of help get the extra glue off, make sure it's in the right spot, and to help avoid burning myself, because Ryobi burns are serious. So you can see with my silicone tool, I let it take the heat of the glue, and then I can just grab it, and it gets a lot of more of the glue. Wow, a lot of more. Sorry guys, the English and the eyes just aren't working today. It gets a lot more of the glue out, the glue strings, and really helps me smooth things down. So there we go. I can see where the glue globs are, and I can just grab them. And then I don't feel like I'm fighting glue strings for a long time. Okay, so that one's good and glued down the whole way. Everything is glued down, even the ends. I like to really make sure everything gets glued down. Before I do the other side, I want to make sure my book can still open and close like it's supposed to, because this has got to function. So, and if it didn't, what I would do is just use a heat tool over the rickrack and kind of bend it into place, or even pull it off if it was that extremely not working. And try again. But that looks like it's working fine. Hopefully it will start to lay down just a little bit more. And like I said, if you need to use a heat tool and kind of help mold it to where it's supposed to go, you can definitely do that once you've got it glued on. And it'll help take away any of the excess glue strings that you have too. Yeah, the rickrack just really adds, especially since it's like a baby, the rickrack really kind of softens it a little, I feel. Makes it pretty cute. Okay. And these pages were perfect. I was using that country kitchen kit to work on a book for a friend of mine that owns a diner, and I saw these pages and I went, nope, that's not going in the kitchen book. That's going in my baby animals book. Okay, so now we'll just do the same thing on this side. Okay, so again, I just like to start at one end, just do a little glob and get it situated. That way I'm not trying to fight like position the whole way down while I'm gluing it down. It can just, you know, I can know that it's going to be there, and I can pull and tug and move and do what I need to do, and that piece is going to stay right there. Okay, so once we get this rickrack situated, I think that's going to be all we're doing for today. But we did do quite a bit today. We got our buttons on, we got our pages in, we got it bound. We put our fabric on. So this book is coming together, and I love it. Now you can also go right along your rickrack with the glue if you're really good with your glue. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't, just depends. And you still want to press it down, and I mean, you can also try to put it on like this so that it'll fold kind of over the spine. Get the glue in there. Usually I work on it flat though, and then I'll just use my heat tool and kind of shape it. And you can see I didn't use my silicone brush that time, and I was really fighting the strings. You can also use Fabri-Tac here or even tacky glue if you don't want to fight with hot glue, or if you want something, depending where you live, maybe more permanent. If you get really hot temperatures, it can heat this hot glue right back up and make it not so, it's not a permanent glue, I guess is what I'm saying, because you can heat it up and it can become loose again. So if you live somewhere that it's really, really hot, maybe use another form of glue. Okay, here we go. Got a re-glue stick. And I have switched to using the Gorilla Glue sticks. I think it does work a little less stringy, like. I'm going to have to glue at the end there. I was using the AdTech glue sticks because that's what Justin was getting and he was recommending, but he uses glue in a different way than I do as a paper crafter, so for him it works great because he uses just piles and piles of glue. I've seen him sometimes, he just pours it into his projects because he's trying to put like a floor in or something on a home like DIY project, home decor piece. But for paper crafting, usually what we're doing is trying to put on trims or that sort of thing, and when it makes more stringy stuff, it's just not as easy to work with. Okay, so we've got those, and then we need to put the rickrack on the inside. And if you're using big rickrack like this, it can help with supporting that spine. You can see it's a little less wobbly now, which is great. And it's just so cute. All right. I've got one perfect strand left of my rickrack here, and I'm hoping it's going to be enough to go the whole way on both sides, both ends here. So I'm just going to pull it in, cut it in half. And this should hopefully cover the inside. And like I said, cleans off my desk too. One less thing on the desk. If only this solved the mess, but you know. Every little bit counts, I guess. Okay, here we go. That's going to seal that edge. It's perfect. Same things on the inside as we did on the outside. We're not fighting a spine right now, so that's a little easier. No, ma'am, you are over there. The dog is trying to tell me it's time for her to eat. She's climbing over here to my side, which I don't let her over here because I drop things like eyelets and paintbrushes. And she's a thief. I don't need her eating eyelets and brads and string and running off with my paintbrushes because I did drop a paintbrush earlier. I sit on kind of a high dining-like chair, like not really a, I mean, I guess it'd be like a breakfast bar chair. It's not a bar stool, but it's a high chair to reach my desk level, and I do drop stuff all the time. There we go. Get those strings and get this the rest of the way glued down. And this is great. I like, you know, I could easily say we're done for today and be good, but I try to get these little things like this rickrack is just perfect. I only had a certain amount, so I want to get it glued in there. I don't want to risk the chance of losing it or something, especially if you have like little scraps. One of the ladies I was just watching on Craft With Me, Sharon B, here on Facebook, she says when she starts making a journal, she keeps a clipboard next to her, and all of her extra scraps, she just clipboards with the clip until she's done with the book. And I thought that was a brilliant idea because then you have all of your stuff. I sometimes keep a little plastic envelope that I can reuse again and again and try to keep all of the themed stuff together. Sometimes when I'm done, I don't move out of that envelope, but I'll add to it. Like if it was a rose theme, or like this one's a farm book theme, so then I'll just add in all of my other farm stuff to that or whatever. And when I'm ready to make another book of that theme, I can grab that envelope, provided I can find it everywhere. There we go. That looks really cute. You can see, you can still see all the things, and it just cleans up our edge there. And the outside, doing that kind of helped to strengthen the spine a bit. And then we've got our buttons here. This is the top. And then we've got room for a dangle if we want to. If we decide we don't want to put a charm or a dangle or anything there, we can just cut that extra elastic off. No big deal. We could also put some little beads. I'm going to see what I have for some charms and maybe put a cute little charm. I know I have a little duck charm because I used it on the other book. And it looks really cute on these baby books. Okay. So we've got our pages in. Room to decoupage on our mixed media paper here. Could also make some pockets. Got some pretty little farm florals. And some plaid. That's a little wow. We can lighten that just a little bit. And our pages do move because it's a slipped spine. So we can take things in and out. We can sew things if we want to because we can slip the pages in and out. If we decide maybe we don't want this paper here, we can take it out and put a different one in. I love this little chicken paper. With our chicks there. And then we've got cows and pigs next to the cute little sleeping pig. And then he's laying in like some straw, so we could take some raffia and kind of line the page if we want to. Or if we make some tags here, we could put raffia as the string on the tag. So many fun things you can do to play off of the storybook pages, and I just love that. And I love that the little farmhouse is the outside page here that we have, and she's actually outside. It looks like maybe she's watering the lawn or feeding the chickens or something. Maybe you guys can see better than me. I don't know what she's doing. But she's outside. And then this page is chickens. There's our cute little pigs again. And I do have a pig napkin, so we could decoupage a tag or a pocket or something there and still make this about the pig. Little puppies. Maybe here I'll find some paw print paper and we can make a little pocket or something fun. So cute. These are goats. Super fun. Goats really are like this. A lot of times in the yard we had goats for a while. And then some swans and a baby goose. And then our horse, and it's all done. I think. Oop, nope, it's not all done. There we go. The pony's taking the puppy and the kitten for a ride. And there's our cow. Moo! This is cute by the cow. And it ends with our chickens, and I like that too. So very cute. I love the order of it. I think it's coming together really, really well. We still have our golden spine, which I like personally. I think it looks good having it on the front and the back there. We did have to divide it to do that, but I think it looks really cute and classy when we do that. We can put some little book ends on here to protect the ends of the cover. So we can do metal bookends if we want to. And I think it's coming along nicely. We've got 2 signatures in there. And next thing we get to do is start making the pockets and ephemera. And that will be so much fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And like I said, even if you don't want to make a little golden book, still kind of the same principles. You can use these techniques with any book that you like. But it is fun playing off the story and finding papers that go with the story and having a theme. But you can do that in any book as well. You can just have a theme and go to town.